Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm James,
I'm Pat,
and we're from Beyond Age Education.
and we believe in justice for the elderly.
Today, we're going to help you to better understand the Banking Royal Commission and what its findings mean for you.
As the older generation, you've given so much to our society over your lifetime. Despite this, it seems that many financial institutions have forgotten about all your hard work and have taken advantage of your precarious situations. So now it's our turn to give back to you in the form of invaluable knowledge and advice. But first, what actually is the Royal Commission that you keep hearing about? Beginning on the 14th of December 2017 and continuing until this current day, there has been a Royal Commission into misconduct in the banking, superannuation and financial services industry. Royal Commissions are a formal independent inquiry instigated by the federal or state government and are often called whenever there is an ongoing illegal activity in any area of the Australian society. Royal Commissions are the most fearsome weapon of inquiry available to the government. The Commission uncovered a plethora of immoral and unethical activity undertaken by some of Australia's major banks and financial institutions. Such activities include financial institutions charging dead client fees, poor financial advice or personal gain, fees for no service, allegations of bribery, and even financial advisors impersonating clients in order to access the details of their super funds.
At the centre of attention is AMP, one of Australia's largest financial firms. We've had significant evidence raised against them regarding misconduct by the company's employees. It was found that along with the four major banks, AMP deliberately participated in a fee-for-no-service scandal in which they charged $220 million for services that they have no intention of providing. AMP even admitted to repeatedly lying to and misleading ASIC by presenting the fee-for-no-service scandal as a mistake on multiple occasions. Such negligence led to AMP losing more than $1 billion in market value in a single week. As you can see, the most trusted banks and institutions that you have previously had complete faith in are not what you thought they were. They may have robbed you over the course of many years without you even knowing it. The Commission has uncovered countless cases that have negatively affected the superannuation savings of thousands of hardworking Australians like yourselves. This poor quality financial advice often only benefited the financial advisors and was clearly not in the client's best interests. Most commonly, financial advisors were targeting lesser educated, older Australians, including retired veterans, and convincing them to take their superannuation from their industry fund and put it into a self-managed fund overseen by the advisor for a fee. These people didn't know any better and put their faith into these unscrupulous financial advisors who essentially pillaged their savings. In fact, in the past decade alone, an estimated $230 billion has been siphoned out of Australia's retirement savings, with total fees exceeding $31 billion in 2016 alone. This figure magnifies how lucrative this market is and clearly demonstrates how financial advisors misled their clients for their own gain.
Today we're outside Crest Haven Aged Care Residence. We're going to explore more in detail how the banks personally affected retired citizens. Inside is a retiree who suffered great financial hardship as a result of the bank's poor behaviour and ended up presenting his case at a Banking Royal Commission's hearing. Let's head on in. Alright, so we're here with our very special guest, Robert.
It's good to be here.
Alright, shall we sit down?
We shall.
So tell me about yourself.
My name's Robert Reagan. I'm 72 years old and I've been a hard-working Australian all my life. I actually gave a testimony at the Royal Commission regarding the poor behaviour of ANZ and how they caused me severe financial hardship.
So what happened to you?
It's with great regret that I admit that I fell for an online scam and subsequently tried to borrow $50,000 from ANZ. A broker whom I trusted was helping me to get the loan and actually provided false information to ANZ about my personal financial situation. There were many clear red flags and warning signs in my bank account that indicated large overseas transactions, but ANZ ignored all of these and actually helped me to transfer $30,000 to the scammer's bank account in the UK. I lost all of my savings and now I'm relying solely on the pension to support me.
So who was at fault for this?
I understand that I shouldn't have fallen for the scam. However, I am not very well financially educated and trusted my broker and the wider ANZ Bank completely. As far as I've heard, they did not perform their legal duties under the Corporations Act as well as the Competition and Consumer Act, and therefore they failed me as a retiree and an everyday ordinary Australian citizen.
Why was the ANZ at fault?
Well, first of all, the bank manager at ANZ didn't discuss what I was going to be using the money for. They also saw that I would be making my last repayment at 102 years old, and they didn't tell me anything about that or raise it. Personally, I'm not even planning on making it anywhere near that age. After taking out the loan, I immediately experienced extreme financial hardship and couldn't afford basic living expenses on top of my loan repayments. I reached out to ANZ 3 separate times about this, but didn't receive a single response.
Thank you very much for your time, Robert.
No worries. I really just hope that people never have to experience what I had to go through ever again.
We acknowledge that you might not have the time nor the expertise to properly understand various statutes of law. So here are the key areas of the Corporations Act, the National Consumer Credit Protection Act, as well as the Competition and Consumer Act that you should acquaint yourselves with moving forwards. Now we understand that this isn't for everyone and we don't want to bore you. So if you're interested in doing your own research on these areas of law, please pause the video in a few seconds' time.
On February 24th, 2019, Commissioner Hayne, the commissioner responsible for overseeing the Banking Royal Commission, released his final report. The report made 76 recommendations and 24 referrals for potentially criminal conduct. Now, most of these recommendations are targeted towards banks and other financial institutions, so I'm only going to share the ones that I believe to be the most relevant to you as older citizens and retirees. Now, Commissioner Hayne recommended that ongoing fee arrangements be renewed annually by the client and that clients be told each year what services they'll be entitled to receive and the total fees that will be charged. To further tackle conflicts and interests, the report proposed that financial advisors be legally required to disclose any lack of independence to clients and clearly explain to clients why they're not independent, impartial and unbiased. Additionally, a last resort compensation scheme funded by industry will ensure consumers who suffer bank wrongdoing receive compensation. So a key recommendation of Hayne is that financial services entities must frequently take proper steps to assess their culture and governance, identify any problems with that culture and governance, deal with those problems, and determine whether the changes it has made has been effective. One way to do this is to look at indicators such as complaint reports, client satisfaction survey levels of care, and protection of whistleblowers. There were 6 norms that Commissioner Hayne believed must be strongly adhered to by banks and other financial institutions. These are: do not mislead or deceive, be fair, provide services that are fit for purpose, deliver services with reasonable care and skill, and when acting on another, act in the best interest of that other.
Whilst the findings and recommendations from this Royal Commission will inevitably help increase the ethical practices of the industry, it doesn't completely stop the possibility of something similar happening in the future. Therefore, as vulnerable members of society, you need to be prudent in all of your dealings with financial advisors and banks. You need to think to yourself, why are they recommending this? What's in it for them? And is it really the best option for me personally? If you do have regular dealings with the bank or a financial advisor, make sure that you deal with someone that you trust, who you know is acting in your best interest, not in their own best interest. And this doesn't have to be someone from a large financial institution or one of the big 4 banks. In summary, the Banking Royal Commission uncovered a worrying degree of illegal and unethical activity undertaken by some of Australia's major banks and financial institutions. It began on the 14th of December 2017 and ended on the 4th of February 2019. Many ordinary Australians and retirees have fallen victim to the poor behaviour of various players in this industry, and many of these people didn't even know it at the time. One example of this is Robert Regan, whose story we discussed earlier on in the video. At the conclusion of the Royal Commission, Commissioner Hayne released his final report, which made 76 recommendations and 24 referrals for potentially criminal conduct. You need to do your best to educate yourselves by better understanding your rights as consumers and researching how the findings of this Royal Commission may affect you moving forwards. In our opinion, the most important thing that can be taken out of this Royal Commission is to be prudent in all your dealings with banks and financial institutions. I'm James.
I'm Pat,
We're from Beyond Age Education.
and we believe in justice for the elderly.
We hope you enjoyed today's educational video, and remember, don't trust the banks.